Hey guys, Miss Poulin here today, and today we'll be talking about summer reading. Now first, I'd like to congratulate everybody on a job well done at LCA. You guys put in top-notch A+ effort and attitude, and all your teachers are super impressed and proud, and we greatly appreciate everything you've done to be awesome students this year. And it is time to enjoy your summer break. But let's talk about summer reading first. So, this video actually highlights a document that will be sent via email to you guys. So you guys will be able to refer back to my verbal directions of the summer reading expectations and a Word document as well. So you guys will have two guidelines on how to complete summer reading. So on that summer reading guideline is kind of like a step-by-step instruction of how you guys should proceed with summer reading. And it talks about expectations, everything that will go through in this video. So let's talk about quantity first. How many books should you be reading for summer break? I think a good number is 3. So total, you will be reading 3 books this summer break. Now I think 3 is a very feasible number, and I think it's a number that you guys will be able to well pace throughout the summer. So know that you guys have the full month of July, the full month of August, and just a little bit of June left to complete your summer reading and the post-reading activities. So here we go. So once you select your 3 books, that's step number 1. Step number 2 is you have to get them approved by me. So step 2 is you will write an email to me via my school email, which is jpoulin@lawrencecatholicacademy.org. And trust me, that email will also be in the document, well, easy to find, so you'll be able to know how to communicate with me and get in touch with me. So to repeat, step number 2 is to email me and get your books approved, right? Because I want to make sure you guys are reading books that are at your reading level. Might be challenging for you guys, because having a challenge is good for reading development. And I want to make sure it's a book that you're really devoted to, right? I don't want you reading something that's going to bore you, right? I want you to read a book that will pique your interest level and is age appropriate for you guys. So that's step number 2, get it approved. So once you get like that check of approval from me, the third step is to get down to business and read that book. I want you to find a comfy spot to read your book in, a spot that you won't want to leave, and maybe you can like read the book all at once, maybe, or plan it out throughout the summer. But regardless, you want to find a spot like Ozzy here that'll be comfortable for you to read in. All right, so once you read your book, and books, you can remember you're reading 3 the whole summer. So once you read your book, oh, he's getting up to leave. Once you leave your book, read your book, you will have to do some post-reading activities. And you do 1 activity per book. So total number of 3 books to read, 3 activities. So I'm gonna go through the options of the activities for you right now. They're right here on my notes, so let me scroll down. All right, so option number 1, movie poster. So you guys, I hope that many of you have gone to the movies. So if you go to the movies, you'll see in the theater that there's actually posters of the movies that are coming soon to the theater. So I want you to imagine that your book is being turned into a movie, and I want you on a poster size paper to depict or draw a scene from your book. And in that scene, there should be at least 2 to 3 characters on that poster board. On the front side, I want you to add the title, the author, the 2 to 3 characters, or the scene with 2 to 3 characters. And at the bottom, I want you to write 2 or 3 actors that you want to play your characters. So that's part number 1. On the back side of that poster, you will be writing a description of why you chose those celebrities. And they don't have to be actors or actresses. They can be like YouTubers, singers, songwriters, band, anything, right? Anything that's famous, right? Celebrities, right? So you choose your celebrities, why you chose them, and also include a brief summary of your book. So there's a little bit of an artistic side to this project, right? Option number 2, diary entries. So those who kind of like creative writing, I think you'll like this option. So I want you to be put yourselves in the shoes of your characters. I want you to write diary entries of your character, right? So let me get the specifics for you. Total, you'll be creating 6 diary entries that you will split your book up into maybe 3 sections however sections you want to split it up, remember you're writing 6 diary entries for the whole book. So you don't want all your diary entries to be in chapter 1. You might want one in chapter 1, maybe a couple in the middle, and a couple at the end, just to give us kind of like, or give me an idea of what you read and maybe the development of that character throughout the book. So the third, and that can also be for nonfiction as well. So if you're choosing a nonfiction book, you can actually do the movie poster option. You can just make it like a film documentary. And you can also the diary entries. So with the diary entries, if you're doing a nonfiction book, you can just write it in the perspective of the author. All right, and the document goes into detail of how you can do that as well. So option 3 is creating a comic book. So I might have mentioned before that, or maybe I didn't mention, but you are able to read graphic novels as part of your choice. So graphic novels are already kind of like comic books in terms of like structure. So if you are reading a graphic novel over the summer, this is an option you cannot choose because the book is already in graphic novel form, right? So you really can't turn it into a comic book. It's already in that kind of structure. So this book, that option is not for you. But if you're reading a regular book with regular chapters and prose and text, you can turn it into a comic book. And you can see the document for instructions on how to do that. So option number 4 is alternative ending. So this is also another option for those who like the creative writing genre. So alternative ending is an ending that's not already depicted in the book you're reading. So say if you're reading a chapter book, you get to the last chapter, and you're like, well, I don't really like how that ended. So you get to actually be the author and create a whole new ending for that book and kind of end it how you want it to end, or maybe end it how you don't want it to end, depending on what you want to go with it. It's kind of your directions, your path, right? So option number 5 is acrostic poetry. It's a little bit different from your regular writing, right? And we will get to poetry this year, but it's kind of like an introduction to poetry. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with acrostic poems, but acrostic poems have to do with like the first letter of a word, right? So my first name is Jenna. So if I were to do an acrostic poem, it'd be like Jenna all the way down the paper. And you just had to kind of fill in characteristics about a character. So you're choosing a character from the book and thinking of character traits or maybe things they've been through, their growth, their development, etc., and write a poem about them, but using the letters of their name. And there is an explanation in the document on how to compose that poem with an example of my name. The last option you can do, and it's really for nonfiction, so if you're reading a book that doesn't really have a storyline, but mainly like is informative or it tells you information about something, this is an option solely for those kind of books. So you write a review. Think of yourself as a critic, right? So if you're imagine if you're reading a book about maybe the Niagara Falls or a car or something. So if you're reading a book about a car or a specific kind of car brand, what you would do at the very end of reading that is create a review about that car. Maybe you want to get that person to buy that product, right? So you're creating an advertisement for that product, so to speak. If you're reading a book about a place, like I said before, like Niagara Falls, you will want to write a review, like a tourism review, right? Like maybe pretend that you're a tourist. So there's a little bit of a creative element there, but pretend that you're a tourist to get other tourists to visit that attraction. And remember, you're using information solely on the text that you wrote. You don't have to have actually visited the place. You just have to read the book about that place, if that makes sense. So I do include a very short list. So those are your options for your reading this summer. So remember, to summarize, you're reading 3 books over the course of the rest of June, July, and August. But at the same time, you have to plan for doing 3 post-reading activities, 1 activity per reading book. And I don't want you to choose the same activity for every single book. For example, I don't want to see 3 comic book post-reading activities. You can do the comic book for one of your books, but I don't want to see the same option for all 3 of your books, if that makes sense. So, to get back to my main point, there is a short list of books I want you guys to kind of like stay away from, and it's only because those are books that I anticipate reading along with you guys during the school year. And I don't want to go through the list right now, but the list is on that document, and I just want to have an opportunity to be able to experience those books firsthand with you guys, and engage with them, engage with that text with you in the moment and not over summer reading. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little kind of introduction to what summer reading expectations is going to look like for you guys. Again, my email is jpoulin@lawrencecatholicacademy.org. That email address is in the document that your parents will be receiving. So you guys will be able to stay in contact with me, in communication with me. If you have any questions about summer reading, please do not hesitate at all. I hope you guys have a great summer and happy reading!